Okay, so we'll get started here in just a minute. I think we are expecting a couple more to join us. So it's our last live class of 2020, and we've also entered the final full moon phase of this year, this epic year. So anytime we're in a full moon cycle, the full moon itself, I believe, is on Tuesday. But it's a 5-day cycle, and it's just an opportunity to do some work on release and letting go. And so what better way than to use our practice of sort of slow flow yoga, using mindful movement, breath, like conscious mindful breath work, and to kind of just shed layer upon layer each time we step onto our mat. As I often say, it's also an opportunity to accept ourselves for where we're at, to honor all of our experiences this year, and to create some spaciousness and openness as we do now look ahead to a new year, hopefully with a sense of hope and inspiration in all the ways that we connect and engage with ourselves and with our relationships, with the work we do, with our communities, with various movements that are important to us, and how we connect to, source or the divine, nature. So we're going to work with all of that as kind of a closing out theme this morning. And if you enjoy sort of some of this thematic element to the practice, it's definitely going to be something we'll be doing in our Sunday soul gatherings, of which there are 11 in 2021. Once each month. And you don't have to do all 11, you can, but there's also a drop-in option. But there's going to be a second hour, so it's going to be a 2-hour event, 1 hour of just kind of what we do here at Sunday, Solar Flow, but then an hour of like breakout discussions, as well as I'll provide like a workbook to kind of dive in a little bit more to kind of soul crafting in terms of like goal setting, and just, again, a chance to just step outside of what immediately is happening, especially the chaos of it all, and to step into a place of really being in a space of openness, again, spaciousness for potentiality, again, in all the ways that we are aligned, or maybe out of alignment. We can get back into alignment, or start to really do some work as to what does alignment feel like? What does it feel like to live a life on purpose? What does abundance look like beyond financial health, which is important in one aspect of our safety? So anyways, that's all coming up. But for now, let's go ahead and get started. We'll begin seated. If you want to sit on a cushion or a block, feel free to prop up the hips. And if you are going to be listening along to the playlist, go ahead and hit play right about now. I'll be listening along. We'll begin again in a comfortable seated position. You can either place your hands just on your thighs, or fingertips, if that feels more grounding, can also just like reach into the earth, rooting fingertips down. And just being a witness to this process of arriving to our practice this morning. Again, a very powerful practice of closing out 2020, entering the final full moon phase. We'll be working with also some moon salutations in our practice, just to kind of honor all the crazy cosmic happenings, the convergence, solstice, full moon, and closing out one heck of a year, an unprecedented year for all of us. As we arrive, let's just honor where we are at in this moment. Give yourself a little nod for showing up this morning. And as we move into our practice, kind of just staying with that, that in itself, part of the practice of how we show up when we are on our mats. distracted the whole time, and that may happen, but can we just shelf everything and give ourselves this space, this hour, and to shed and release layer upon layer so that we can embody spaciousness and openness, as well as just this like deep center. And center to me is present moment awareness. We just dive in, accepting where we're at, honoring all experiences that have led to now, and just planting that seed, starting in our own hearts of just pure potentiality of where we go from here. Let's just take a few more grounding breaths, and then we'll open up with some movement. Inviting in a nice long spine as we root down into the earth through sits bones, maybe through fingertips. Again, there's a duality, an equal rising energy, an opposite lift through heart, all the way up through crown of head. And we'll be invoking the 5 elements and their wisdom in the practice. And we begin with earth. The earth is physical, material. Earth is safety. Earth is like our foundation, right? It's our home, our food, our financial health, our physical health. All that grounds us and keeps us rooted, both feet into the earth. From there, begin just to really draw breath up from the pit of the belly, up through that rising lift of the heart. See if you can invite in a sense of ease and just soft energy in the face. If you are sitting up on a block or a cushion, you can just slide it aside. Let's bring hands to the knees, and we'll just start to roll out. And here we come into the water element, the essence of flow. As we start to embody through this movement, rolling out from hips, which is where like our water lives, sacral chakra. Just inviting in curiosity. What does flow feel like, look like on our mats, off our mats? But we embody in this practice. So just start to roll out. Again, there's a release. Maybe you're just rolling out anything feeling kind of tight, stuck, sticky in the back body, down to the hips, the side body, maybe into the shoulders. Go ahead and switch directions here if you've been going in one pattern of movement. Water is our emotional waters, our emotional and mental health, the ebb and flow of how we experience joy, as well as just real, true contentment in our day-to-day lives. Water is also where we house our creativity, right? We are all creative beings. And we'll start to slow it down and just bring it right back through center. From here, reaching arms up overhead. And let's just pause for a moment and just anchor right here, like an invisible pole that mirrors our spine, rooting us down, but lifting all the way up, jumping all the way into the ethers, right? This essence of just space. So just envisioning like this sphere around your yoga mat, encapsulating this space for your practice this morning. One more breath here. We'll take it into a twist, bringing your left hand to your right knee, swinging your back hand down, keeping the spine long as you just gaze gently over your right shoulder. Again, scan the face, ask the face to stay relaxed and soft around the forehead, the eyes, down into the jaw. The breath present, maybe in the belly, all the way up through the nostrils. Just gently wringing out, very symbolic of release and letting go. We're just like a wet rag, just whoosh, squishing out the old to make space for the new. And back through center, again, reaching arms up overhead, feeling that length to the top of your inhale, fully expressed through the hands. So even showing up to a very simple posture, such as seated here, with purpose all the way up through the fingertips. Another breath in, and then we'll just take that nice easy twist to the other side. Beginning to lengthen each inhale. Slow down each exhale. So we also ask our nervous system to respond to slowing down and coming back through center. Once again, we'll reach arms up overhead. And then we'll bring it right into eagle arms. Left arm under, right arm over, wrapping all the way up or holding on to your shoulders or any other variation that feels best for you. Drawing elbows forward. Again, notice how that maintains that lift through the heart space, like someone's just very gently pressing their fingertip between the shoulder blades to encourage that openness. And you can stay right here and just breathe right behind your heart center, right into that hot pocket of between the shoulder blades, right? I think we all carry stuff there. And also gently twist over to one side and gaze over opposite shoulder and just kind of work with that to the other side. Or if it feels good to come back to some more fluid rolling patterns of movement, you start to roll out, creating circular shapes, or maybe even like a version of a figure 8 infinity symbol. Or maybe stretch it forward and bring it down, just trusting your intuitions to what feels welcome in your body. Coming back through center, opening up into like a wide wingspan again, just envisioning space, ether, immediately around your space of your yoga mat. Let's just come into a chest opener, interlacing fingers behind the body and a slight lift up. And just bowing forward, however far forward you come, chin to chest, will come right back up and reach arms back up overhead. Again, lengthening up with your inhale. Coming into your eagle arms on the other side, right arm under. Breathing again right into that back body. Following the movement of your breath. Again, you can just hold it center. Begin to twist to each side. Or maybe rolling out on this side. Imagine here we're just like stoking the fire. So I literally have the fire behind me, but the fire is like our manipura. That's like right at the solar plexus. This is our passion, our purpose, all the ways in which we work and serve, things that really drive us and motivate us to take action, whether that's paid career work or other. And let's bring it up through center. Open up wide. Once again, a chest opener, lifting up, folding forward, releasing, coming back through center, and we'll make our way into all fours, tabletop pose. And rooting down with purpose, right? Even just these simple postures, really spreading out fingertips. These are also our down dog hands. Middle fingers 12 o'clock, pressing into all your fingertips and knuckles. And let's bring our awareness right to that low belly and create a fist. Draw up that contains and stabilizes right at our core center. Uddiyana Bandha. Bandha is an energetic lock, but it's also physically stabilizes us right where it counts, right? And now relax your belly as you drop forward through cow pose. So lifting the tail, pressing into the hands, just a nice natural movement for the spine. Engage the abdomen, contract and begin to round into your cat pose and pull it all the way up, chin to chest. Again, releasing belly drops. Breathe in here as you scoop open. Initiate that fist in the low belly as you begin to round from the base of the spine all the way up. Stretch the upper back. One more, just nice and easy here. Cow and cat. Inhale, press into the earth. And then round it back like an angry Halloween cat. So we come back center or through neutral, lifting the right knee and the right toes up right towards the ceiling as you evenly press through each hand. Take a breath here, lift the gaze. Now scoop or draw that right knee in like a cat variation and dropping forehead right towards knee. We'll do that again, scooping open, lifting those toes up towards the ceiling, and then drawing right through center. One more time. Inhaling up and drawing in. We'll make our way into a three-legged down dog from here as your right toes lift, tuck your back toes, and press into the arms, the hands to lengthen all the way through your back heel. And just really stretch out the body. Feel how long we can feel here from the hands all the way through the back leg. Keeping the leg long, go ahead and open that hip, creating even more space. From here now, we'll bend the knee and scoop the right knee out towards the right shoulder. So really opening that hip joint and then draw it in towards the nose as the shoulders keep coming forward and we drop forehead to knee. So we'll do that again, lengthening back, stretch it out, open the hip, bend the knee, scoop out towards the outer arm and then bring it right in through center, knee towards nose. We'll do that once more and then add on by stepping forward, open the hip, bend the knee, scoop out, bring it in. We're gonna step our right foot to our right thumb. Come up onto your fingertips, or if you're using blocks, you can always have blocks under each hand. Take a breath, just kind of arriving into this shape of our lunge. And we're gonna lengthen the front leg, lift the toes, and drop chin to chest. Hold it here. Breathing into that sensation you feel. If you want to move around, even micro movements here in the hip. Bring it forward now, lower the back knee, sweeping hands back by the hips, and then lifting up through chest. Circle those arms up overhead, hands can stay apart, or maybe interlaced for Kali Mudra, where you interlace your fingers, but extend your pointer fingers up and cross at the thumbs, left thumb over right thumb. Intentional, so invoking a very feminine mudra. And all that feminine represents. One more breath here. Just bring fingertips back down to frame the front foot. Lift your back knee. We're gonna open into a twist, right arm up overhead. Stay there or reach behind you. Hold there or lower the back knee and grab a hold of your foot behind you. Open up through the chest, so it's like a slight back bend. Maybe turn the right foot out and then swing that hand back down. Lift the back knee. And once again, we'll lengthen the front leg. Lift your toes, chin to chest. As we come forward now, stepping into a plank pose, right foot steps back. Modifications are welcome with knees down. Plank, again, we engage, we squeeze the core. Again, like a low fist in your, or a belly, your low belly, creating like a fist-like engagement as we come forward and lower all the way to the belly, choosing your pace, keeping the neck long, come all the way down, reach your toes back. We're coming to a version of a back bend, a version of locust pose. So we're gonna lift up feet and hands and create like a W with your elbows, squeezing shoulder blades down. So creating space between shoulders and ears, hands expressed. Engage your glutes, turn your feet out slightly to stabilize the low back. So press your pelvis down into the earth. And you can stay right there or reach back, interlace fingers, and then lengthen for a chest opener. One more breath here. And release, pressing up through all fours, sliding into a child's pose just for a moment. Hips stretch back, reach your hands into the earth and drop down. Feel some deep ease here. Take a breath. And then coming back forward through all fours. Tabletop pose, lifting your left toes up towards the ceiling, lifting the gaze. And then drawing that knee right through center and tuck it up towards the nose. Again, we'll scoop open, belly drops. Breathe here as you open up, and then we just kind of close in mindfully, tucking that knee right into nose. Once more, and then we'll stretch it back into a three-legged down dog. One more time, draw that left knee in, tuck in, and now we'll make that transition into three-legged downward facing dog, stretching back, lengthen out. Allow the hip to start to open, and then bend the knee, scoop out, get into that hip joint, bring the knee in, knee to nose, shoulders forward, and then stretch it back, three-legged down dog. Open up, bend the knee, circle out, tuck it in as you come forward. And once more, as we then add on by stepping forward, open the hip, bend the knee, scoop out, forward, and then stepping left foot to the left hand. Grabbing blocks or coming up onto your fingertips. Settle in. Left knee is aligned right over the ankle. And lengthen that front leg, lift your toes, chin to chest. And just dive into that sensation, breathe into it, maybe move around a little bit. Try to relax your neck, the back of your neck. And then we'll bring it forward. Lower the back knee, reach hands behind you, and then we're gonna circle up and overhead. Again, hands can stay apart, or option for the Kali Mudra. Pointer fingers up towards the ethers. Left thumb, representing feminine, crosses over the right. Hips stretch open, heart lifted. Again, just embodying here spaciousness. And releasing hands down. Lift your back knee. We'll open into our twist here, reaching the left arm up and overhead. You can stay right there or reach behind you, lower the back knee, grab a hold of your foot. Option to turn the left foot and knee out and then lift the heart like a slight back bend here. And then we'll swing that left hand back down, lift the back knee once more, lengthen the front leg, lift your toes. As we come back forward now, plank pose, stepping back. You can stabilize it, just allow this to be a very grounding posture. Modifications welcome for stability, building strength, building energy. So this is very much a fire pose. We come forward, option to lower halfway down for Chaturanga Dandasana, our low push-up. Of course, you can come down to the belly and staying low for maybe a cobra pose or pulling forward for a full expression of upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Take your time with it. From the pit of the belly, we engage to draw back, like someone just pulling your hips back, downward facing dog. And settle in. Notice where you can relax, like in the back of the neck as you wrap the elbows in and root yourself into the earth. And breathe into this familiar space. Sense of home here. And another breath. Take a grounding breath. Again, just embody the essence of downward facing dog. Nice exhale. Reaching the right foot up. Open the hip. Bend the knee. Scoop out. Tuck it in. From here, we're going to step right forward. This time we'll bring the back heel down. So it's a warrior one stance in the legs. From here, reaching fingertips back by the hips. And begin to lift out of that right hip a bit so you're not sinking into it. Rolling shoulder heads back. And fully engaged through the hands. Equally rooted in both feet. Keeping fingertips back. Begin to lift the heart. Again, circle hands up overhead. Hands can stay apart or coming back to that Kali Mudra. Allow that right knee to deepen forward. as you stay actively engaged to the back leg, lifted through the heart. All right, so lots going on here. Very dynamic, powerful posture. And with Kali Mudra, we just invoke the power of feminine. Take another breath here. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Open the arms into an open arm twist, gazing over your right shoulder. And then reversing the arms, back hand drops to the body as the left arm reaches up and over. And from here, coming into a warrior two. So just heating up some fire postures here, and just coming into that, the power of our warrior. Smooth out across the chest, shoulders, even energy through front hand and back hand. Right into a reverse warrior from here, reaching the right arm up and over. Begin to lengthen that front leg and tip back slightly out of that right hip and getting a nice side stretch. And we'll just cartwheel hands to the inside of the front foot. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Slide that foot out. And you can just stay right here and breathe. Or option to drop the back knee. Reach the right hand back once again to grab a hold of your foot. We'll bring our hands back down to the inside of the front foot. Lift the back knee. From here, just coil the spine up. Option to lift those front toes. As we come back forward, walking your hands over so that you end up in a wide-legged forward fold facing me. So if you need to make any adjustments there to make that make sense. Stretching your fingertips into the earth, dropping your head between your ears. And stretching those sits bones back. So just lengthen out. Feel how long you can stretch out the spine here. And then sliding hands in front of each foot, turning maybe them out slightly as your toes also turn out to like 11 and 1. We're just gonna bring it side to side. So try to keep the spine kind of long here and the shoulders move in a very fluid way. These can be micro movements. At any time you can just come back to a still wide-legged forward fold. Otherwise, just kind of reach into the earth, but allow that spine to be fluid and to maintain its length. As you just take it side to side. If it makes more sense for hands to stay forward, we can do that as well. I'm just invoking like some primal movement here. Allowing the body to respond in a way that's like, oh yeah, this feels like intuitive. And then coming back through center. Walk your hands between the feet. Plant your hands down, elbows bend straight back. Almost like as if you were coming into a tripod headstand. From here, we're just gonna pull the head towards the hands. Bring your weight forward into your toes. Again, stretch out, one more breath. And then bringing it halfway, turn to face the front of your mat from your lunge, stepping back into plank pose. Option just to hold your plank. You can go right back to downward facing dog and skip the flow. Otherwise, coming into a mindful flow, lowering down halfway or to the belly, upward facing dog or cobra. Again, engage the core, pull back like someone's pulling your hips back for you, and arriving back downward facing dog. Taking a breath. Notice the exhale. Soften where you can. And then reach the left leg up. One time here. Open the hip. Bend the knee. Scoop out. Tuck in and stepping forward into a warrior one stance. So just making any adjustments in the feet first. So you're just really equally rooted as we reach our fingertips back by the hips and roll the shoulder heads back. As if you were like pressing onto a table behind you. Hands are fully expressed. And then keeping fingertips back as we begin to roll up through the chest. Hands circle up overhead. They can stay apart or coming back into Kali Mudra, deepening into that front knee and actively squeezing the back foot. Lifted through the heart. Again, embodying spaciousness, the air element in our lungs, our heart space, as we stay rooted into the earth. One more breath here. And then coming onto the ball of the back foot, coming into a twist. Right hand down, left hand up. You can stay right there, lower the back knee, and grab a hold of your back foot. Hands come back to the inside of your front foot. Coil the spine, round it. Option to lift the front toes. And then once again, walking your hands into a wide-legged forward fold. We shake out the head. Turning to face the front of your mat. So we'll set up our warrior two from here, which I almost skipped by accident. So your left foot is forward, back heel is down. From here, let's just open the arms and just kind of flow open into warrior two on this side. Smooth out across shoulders and chest. Gazing with intention in front of your front fingertips. Feeling the even energy downward into the earth as you lower the hips. And just invoking the true essence of Virabhadrasana 2 warrior. Coming into a reverse warrior from here. Reaching your left arm up and over. And then lengthen the front leg so that you lift out of the hip. And you can tilt back, slightly. One more breath here. And cartwheeling hands down, coming into a plank pose, stepping back. Again, option to hold your plank, to take it back to down dog, or coming forward, halfway down. Rise open, upward facing dog to the top of your inhale. And then drawing it back, downward facing dog. Taking a breath. All right, from here, bend your knees, gazing forward, making your way to the top of your mat. Coming into a halfway lift, option to come into that with airplane wings. You can always bend your knees if that feels better for the low back. Otherwise, again, engage, squeeze the low belly. Draw the shoulders back, create some space between the shoulders and ears. Gazing straight down, so just inviting in a lot of length here in the back body. And then ease down, forward fold. Make your way into a ragdoll. So just scoot your feet out, shoulder width or wider. Hold onto your elbows. And sway side to side. Find, again, some deep ease here. Shake out the head, relax the neck. Release another layer, maybe a big one here, just any version of tension that we're carrying. Physical, energetic, emotional. In this moment, let something go. Right, our relationship with uncertainty, all the practices that keep us just grounded, aligned, a sense of openness. And what motivates us to take the actions that we take. And release. Slowly bring your feet back in. You can take a halfway lift, airplane arms as an option. Lengthen and bring it down. Rising all the way up, extended mountain pose. And bring your hands to heart center. So we're going to move into some moon salutations. Chandra Namaskar. Let me adjust a little bit here. Hello, friends. Sometimes I get into my own world here, and it's so lovely to gaze out and see you all. Okay, so we're gonna be moving into moon salutations, just in essence of this final full moon cycle that we're in, closing out 2020. So you'll want to mirror me, and you're at the horizontal version of your mat, like landscape, versus, you know, facing forward and you're like gazing at your short edge of your mat. You want to see the length of your mat and mirroring me, because as I step with my left foot, that will be your right foot. Just as if we were in a traditional yoga class, but also the era of Zoom mirroring. Okay, starting in mountain pose, we're going to take a breath and just kind of anchor back, feeling both feet in the earth. Taking a breath as we reach arms up overhead, interlacing fingers, and then leaning over to your right. Pressing the outer hip, creating a crescent moon shape in the body. As we come back through center, an option for Kali Mudra through this. So extending point your fingers up, thumbs crossed. From here, we're gonna take a big step out, opening into a star pose, so turning toes out, arms at a wide V or straight out from your shoulders. Take a breath here. And as we come into a goddess pose, let's bring it into Kali Mudra right in front of the heart center. So again, point your fingers face up to the ethers, left thumb crossed in front of right thumb. As we come into our power of goddess, the power of our legs, the power that we hold right here, fire element, all of our fuel. But now we're gonna bring it back up, reaching mudra up overhead. Arms now parallel, setting up triangle pose, facing your right foot. As you come forward for Trikonasana, bringing your right hand to the leg, or if you're using blocks, they'll move around with you on your mat. And you can gaze up or straight ahead or down, whatever's best for your neck. We'll take this first one slow and mindful. And just breathing into the essence of triangle pose, the openness of your wingspan of the chest, fully expressed through the top hand, fully engaged in both legs, as if squeezing feet towards one another, just as if I was trying to hold something forward in my right hand. So I'll just throw in a few variations of moon salutations. Let's bend that front knee, come into a reverse warrior, lengthen the front leg, lift out of that right hip. From here, cartwheeling hands down to frame your right foot. Come onto the ball of your back foot and well, first let's lengthen the front leg, lift your toes and drop chin to chest. Coming back forward, lower your back knee, reaching hands back by the hips, lifting up through the heart, and then circle hands up and overhead. Option for hands to be apart or coming into Kali Mudra. And releasing hands down to the inside of your front foot. Lift your back knee and just kind of coil the spine. Stretch it up, chin to chest. Coming right back forward, walking your hands over into a wide-legged forward fold, stretching fingertips into the earth. So a couple options with moon salutations. One is to hold here when we pause between sides. You can also come back to like flowing side to side. So it's always nice to embrace like options in your practice. Choose what feels intuitive. Final option, more traditional moon salutation, is to pause in a malasana, wide kind of Buddha squat. So 3 options there. Choosing your path. Bringing it back through center. Let's come into a halfway lift. And then we'll just reverse the order. So as we come back down, turn to face your left foot. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Lengthen the front leg, lift your toes, drop chin to chest. As we come back forward, lower the back knee, hands, fingertips reach back by the hips. And then up and overhead, again, hands apart, or coming back into our mudra. As we release hands down, lifting your back knee, coming right into a reverse warrior. So through a warrior 2, reaching your left arm up and overhead, and then lengthen your front leg and lift out of your left hip. Triangle pose from here, leaning forward, bring that left hand to the leg or to a block, right arm up and over. And breathe. From here, rising up, 5-pointed star, turning heels in, toes out, coming into goddess with the option for Kali Mudra right at heart center. Drop into your power. Connected at heart, and the fingers intentionally up towards ether, and that represents infinite and pure potentiality. When we are grounded, connected at heart space, fueling up our purpose and passion. Let's reach up overhead. From here, you're gonna step towards the opposite edge of your mat of how we started. Hands still in mudra, and we'll just bring it over into a crescent moon shape, pressing your right hip out, coming back through center. And let's just pause, bringing mudra in front of heart, taking a breath, just witnessing your experience. That's one half of a moon salutation. And so we'll repeat that on the other side, reaching up. We'll begin once again by just stretching over to the side, coming back through center, taking a big step out, sliding and opening, sliding feet and then opening arms into spacious star. Right back down into goddess pose with mudra. From here, reaching mudra up overhead, we'll set up a triangle pose, turning to face your left foot as we arrive back into Trikonasana. Again, fully engaged in the lower body, just as if I was holding something in my left hand, and lift it up with a sense of purpose and intention through your top hand. One more breath here. And then bending into that front knee, reverse warrior. Lengthening the front leg, lifting out of that left hip, cartwheeling hands down, come onto the ball of your back foot, so your left foot is forward. Lengthen the front leg, chin to chest, lift the toes, and then coming back forward, lower your back knee. Fingertips stretch back by the hips, lift through the heart, swing up and overhead. Again, option for your mudra here, and releasing down. Lifting the back knee, walking hands to the inside of your foot, and then continue the walk with the hands back as we pause between that cycle. Wide-legged forward fold, or sway side to side, more primal lunge, or malasana wide squat. Choose your path. Trust your intuition. And now turning to face your right foot, starting in a lunge. Lengthen your front leg, lift your toes, chin to chest. And forward, lower the back knee. Anjaneyasana, a Kali Mudra, sweeping hands up and overhead. As we bring hands down, right into a reverse warrior, lift your back knee, pivot the heel down through a warrior two. Right arm up and over. Lengthen that front leg, lift out of the hip. Good. From here, triangle pose, leaning forward and bringing the right hand down. Opening up from here into star pose. Breathe in, bring it into goddess with mudra. And as we reach mudra up overhead, lengthening the legs, hold that mudra, stepping to where we started, top of your mat facing me, and then leaning over into a crescent shape. Back through center, pausing with mudra in front of heart center. So that was one full moon salutation. Let's just flow through one more cycle with a little bit more fluidity, beginning with reaching up overhead, leaning over to the side, crescent moon, back through center, big step out, opening the arms now, spacious star pose, and we bring it right into a goddess pose. So we reach up, triangle pose, turning to face your right foot, leaning forward, Bringing the hand down. From here, reverse warrior, bend into that front knee. And then lengthen the leg, lifting out of that right hip. As we cartwheel hands down, come onto the ball of your back foot. So you're facing your right foot. Lengthen the front leg, lift the toes, chin to chest. As we come back, center, lower the back knee. Anjaneyasana, hands sweep back and then circle up and overhead. Kali Mudra. Hands come down. Lift your back knee, walk your hands to the inside of your right foot. And we'll pause, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Or moving into your primal lunge, side to side, or malasana, wide squat. And then turning to face your left foot, coming into the ball of the back foot. Lengthen the front leg, lift the toes, chin to chest. Coming back forward, lower the back knee. Anjaneyasana. Open up. Get embodying spaciousness, right? As well as being rooted down, equally lifted up. Hands come down, lift the back knee into reverse warrior, turn the back heel, reaching the left arm up and over, and then lengthening that front leg. And then from here, triangle pose, coming forward and down, reaching the right arm up. Breathing, just arriving with intention, each posture in this sequence. From here, we'll lift up into spacious star pose, heels and toes out, lifted open through the heart and arms, back into goddess pose with Kali Mudra, dropping into our power. All that feminine represents. As we lift up, mudra up overhead, turn the feet, and then step opposite edge of your mat, coming into crescent moon. Back through center, hand mudra to heart space. A moment of just dropping in here with this next breath. And we'll begin and close out the second half of this final moon salutation, lifting up and over. Crescent moon. Back through center, big step out, opening into star pose. Right into our goddess. We return to mudra intention. Reaching up overhead into triangle pose, turning to face your left foot, bring the hand down, and then open into Trikonasana. Reverse warrior from here, left arm sweeping up, lengthen the leg, lift. Cartwheeling hands down, come onto the ball of the back foot. Lower the back knee. Oh, sorry. Let's lengthen the front leg, lift the toes. And then come back forward, lower the back knee. Anjaneyasana, hands back. And then swing up and overhead, option to come into mudra, openness. And then hands come down to the inside of the front foot, lifting the back knee. So once more, we turn to pause, choosing a wide-legged forward fold, a squat, or primal lunges, side to side. Just take a moment to be grounded, but also fluid, whether that's movement or just breath. Slowing it down. Turning to face your right foot. Lengthening the front leg, lift your toes, chin to chest. Coming back forward, lower your back knee. One last time, Anjaneyasana, reaching hands up overhead. Releasing down. Reverse warrior, turn the back heel, and just reaching that right arm up and over. Lengthen your front leg, lift out of the hip. And then from here, triangle pose, bringing the right hand down. Rising open, star pose, and turn the heels in. And then spaciousness and lift through chest, arms. Final goddess pose with Kali Mudra. Channeling this wisdom of feminine power, reaching up overhead. And we'll meet where it all began, at the top of the mat. Crescent moon. Back through center. Mudra to heart. So we'll now shift into our closing yin phase of practice, embracing the lunar, embracing slowing down. Taking a moment of pause to witness, just standing present and anchored in both feet into the earth, in Tadasana Mountain with Kali Mudra. Again, we channel sort of the feminine by crossing left thumb over right. Notice your pointer fingers and all that represents for you from heart up as you continue to anchor and root down. Reaching arms up overhead now, mudra up overhead. Option for a slight back bend. Let's swan dive. Forward fold. Soften the knees, bring your fingertips down. Halfway lift. Option for airplane arms. And release. So we're gonna make our way right into a half pigeon pose. You can come into it from down dog. Otherwise, maybe just step the left foot back through a lunge. Slide your right foot over, safely lowering both knees down. And we'll stay upright to begin. Of course, if this is not your pose, any alternatives are welcome. Maybe rolling to your back for a reclined butterfly or a figure four stretch. So you can either leave your fingertips right beside you, or if it feels okay, the low back, once more, a pigeon version of what we were doing earlier, Anjaneyasana, option for Kali Mudra. And then fingertips come forward as we bring ourselves, again, mindfully with intention, into the resting phase of pigeon. So coming down. Bringing yourself into a safe space, right? So you just like tuck it all in, close the eyes or soften your gaze. Allow yourself to just receive here. Again, coming back to that visualization of this sphere, immediately the space around your mat, and you can, invoke your space in terms of just taking what you need with each breath, new. With each exhale, just cycling out old. Not that we have to define it unless something does come up for you. Just breathe into that space of awareness. Just fully accepting where we are at in this moment. Honoring all of our experiences that have led to now. And as we close out a year, especially this year, taking mindful moments of pause to really reflect on what we wish to carry forward, what we wish to leave behind. And then just taking a slow release. We're going to set up the other side. So however you want to get there, if you want to move around first, find some counter movement to kind of release and let go. Anything that came up there, anything that just wanted to move out, any tension, any layers. Whenever you're ready, left knee forward or any alternative postures on your back. If you'd like, choosing to stay upright just for a moment. Again, reaching your hands into the earth so the heart stays lifted. Or if it feels okay in the back body, reaching arms up. Into Kali Mudra, releasing down. Once again, coming forward with just intention of any form of healing, of release, of letting go. One more breath, a nice slow healing breath, drawing us into here and now. This time as we release, we'll just stay seated so you can swing over, coming into butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana, holding on to ankles or wrapping around the feet or shins. So this is a very intentional closing posture, a very grounding one where we come back to earth and physical, literally connecting to our physical body. Feeling that rootedness down through the sits bones. And just coming back to that vision of an invisible pole, right? So from the base of our spine, that pole keeps us equally lifted through heart, through crown of head, and then our breath just follows these two lines of energy that also deeply represent like yin and yang, right? Sun and moon. In yoga, the main two energetic channels, almost like DNA, that wrap around a central line. Pingala and Ida, and Sushumna is like the main central cord, much like that pole that I'm referencing. And then we have our key energetic, vortexes or wheels of energy, our chakras, and then we come back to the 5 elements. So we'll just close with a brief visualization. As we move through this, we won't be here long. You can stay here in your butterfly, or if you'd rather lay down at this point, please feel free to lay down and come into a reclined butterfly or any other alternative on your back, which is where we will eventually all be meeting. Just a brief visualization on the 5 elements. Again, these are just very symbolic in the core ways in which we choose to connect and engage, all the actions we take from there when we are aligned. So just this visualization is really just the power of intention, of a felt sense. If you feel so inspired, maybe some journaling after your practice, if you want to jot some things down. We'll begin with earth, physical, material. Just envisioning and also inviting in a felt sense of being in alignment with all that creates safety for our basic needs and thriving from there upwards, our physical health, our financial health, the quality of our space, our homes, the food that nourishes us. Also just the ways in which we engage with our resources, like how we spend financially, but also other ways that we consume, right? And just a sense of purpose around all of that. As we move up into water, sacral, emotional health, mental health, envisioning and inviting in a felt sense of peace, contentment, the ability to feel and express joy, to share it with others, to feel a sense of contentment, or what we call in yoga santosha, one of the niyanas, in our day-to-day life, a sense of just connection, purpose, and balance. From there, Manipura, or solar, fire, our passion, our purpose, what fuels us to take actions and what types of actions we take in terms of how we engage in our work, our careers, our businesses, how we engage with our community, various movements that are important to us, that give us a sense of purpose, all of the ways in which we act and take action. From there, we come up into heart, lungs, air, our seat of compassion, how we connect with our relationships, how we show up, loved ones, friends, neighbors, strangers. From there, we draw up into ether or space, which is our third eye point, as well as above crown of head. And this is our deep wisdom, our inner compass, intuition, a felt sense of being in alignment, clarity, where we go from here. Small steps, as well as sort of like big picture thinking, as well as connection to source, divine, nature, travel. hiking all the ways in which we just engage with ether and the mysterious wonder of Mother Earth. And whether you're seated or laying down, just taking a cleansing breath, reaching hands up overhead. If you'd like, one last Kali Mudra. Maybe sway side to side if you're seated, or you can roll around on your back. Let's come back to center, reaching arms out, just as we did earlier in the practice, like a wingspan, that sphere of space. And we just root right back down and just anchor here and now. So I will remain seated, but from here, making your way into the final phase of this practice, into your Shavasana. If you'd rather stay in a seated meditation or at some point arrive there, just as we started, so we come back full circle. Of course, full permissions to lay down or bring your legs up the wall, any closing supportive postures that help bring you into a real space of this final phase of release in this morning's practice of letting go is in Shavasana, corpse pose. Allow yourself to root down. As you embody spaciousness, lightness, allowing all the layers that we released to just like dissolve into the earth beneath you, and feeling a real sense again of openness in the front body, around the heart space, around the forehead center space. And even the breath just finds its natural state of presence, moving into a very effortless state of receiving. Give yourself permission to receive whatever you need in this moment. Thanking yourself for showing up, carving out this time. Giving yourself permission to stay here, whether laying very peacefully in Shavasana or a seated meditation. Give yourself permission to stay as long as you'd like. And maybe challenge yourself when there's that first instinct to jump up, to just stay a little bit longer. If you are listening along to the playlist, this closing track continues on for several more minutes. And this is where I will leave you in terms of guided instruction. Thank you so much for gathering virtually on this final live practice of 2020. And as you enter the full moon phase, particularly on Tuesday, if you feel so inspired just to reflect on any practices that get you there, to reflect on the power of deep release, the power of letting go layer upon layer so that we can embody spaciousness and open ourselves up to infinite possibilities, pure potentiality, to clarity and alignment and connection. And thank you so much. I'll continue to be here each Sunday. I hope to see you next week for the first Sunday practice in 2021. Be well.